We're going to start upright seated here. So I'm going to just be turning around in various ways to show you what I'm doing. And here I'm sitting upright and marching legs. And we're just going to warm up a general way here, marching our legs. And as I say, if anything goes on with my sound or my visual that becomes frozen for a long period of time, or my sound goes off, obviously, do some waving of the arms. Hopefully my batteries don't run out again since I just started. Now step out to the side and back to center with these high steps. So get your knee high, step it wide, high and back to center. We're trying to warm up those hip sockets a little bit and also activate the idea of stepping much higher than we might in daily life. And in that way, when you go stepping in daily life, you might actually step a little bit more fluidly. So good, get those knees as high as you can. And Colleen, I'm seeing that left knee. Yes, there it goes. Left knee, go out wide and back to center. And then let's go out wide with both legs here. Take them nice and wide and sit upright. And we'll rock on our heels and toes here. So lift your heels and toes. I'm wondering if if I turn this out, maybe the camera will adjust to see my feet better. I think so, yeah. So we're gonna go there. So rocking tiptoes to heels. And then let's alternate. So one heel goes up as the other toe goes up if we can. So playing with a little coordination here and also activation in the calves and shins. And as I say, I walked about 30 miles this last weekend and my shins are kind of killing me. So I've been doing a lot of ankle stuff, which is not bad for the Parkinson stuff, of course, too. Let's lift our toes. Make sure your feet are a little bit beyond your knees so that your toes can lift, and then swivel your toes in and out. Good. And go out wide and stay out wide. Turn your knees out wide. Put your toes down in the wide position. Try and sit up tall. So we're holding our knees, and I'm just showing you from a different angle to give you a little more upright chest and hands on those inner knees. Good. And then we're going to rotate our chest left and right. Can you keep your eyes forward? So your eyes stay right at the screen, but you're rolling one shoulder under your chin and then the other shoulder under your chin. So do try to keep your eyes on me the whole time here. So Colleen, instead of turning your head as best you can, I know the instinct is to turn your head, and I know it's quite challenging to keep your eyes forward as best you can. Watch me and just roll your shoulders, one in front of you and then the other, or the one in front of you as the other goes back. Good. Twist to the right, finally here, pause in this twist to the right as your left shoulder's forward. Then turn your head to the right and back to the front, and then to the right and back to the front, just gently now. And I know it's, you're gonna have various neck stuff that might be a part of this, and obviously we're playing with whatever we can here. Don't hurt yourself. The goal is not to push through too much pain, but just work into some discomfort possibly without pain. Go the other way. So your left shoulder goes back, your right shoulder comes forward, and then turn your head left and right there. And just, some of this is just finding out. It's about exploring your neck capacity rather than trying to expand it even. So just keeping your right shoulder forward, turning your head left and right. And then turn back to face forward with everything and walk your feet back into the center and rock your toes and heels there right in front of you. And then set your feet solid on the ground and take your arms nice and wide and overhead. Palms facing the ceiling. Can we reach up all the way? Inhale. And then turn your palms away from each other. Push out and down with those palms towards the floor now. Now can we breathe, inhaling, reaching your arms up, palms up. Exhale, turn your palms out all the way down. So our inhale rises the arms, the exhale floats them down. Exhale. See if you can be unhurried about this. One more round. Inhale up. Exhale, pushing out wide and down. Good. Now, with your elbows by your ribs, just bend your elbows and turn your palms right in front of your ribs there, or right in front of your elbows. And then I'm going to get closer to show. So here we've got our palms. Pull your elbows back and squeeze the shoulder blades together. Now check that your neck is a little soft here and not jutting forward with the chin, but actually drawing the head slightly back. So notice if you're craning your head forward, try and keep your head neutral over your spine, pulling your elbows back. Very good. Dial your palms out, keeping those elbows back. We're trying to get big stretch across the collarbones and chest and heads of the arm bones there. Good. Now we're going to take the elbows bent and up and round here like we're hugging a beach ball a little bit. Dive your head down to your sternum. And lift your shoulders to your ears a little bit. And then turn it all over. Lift your heart, take the elbows back, lifting up, looking up even. And then take the arms the other way. So it's almost diving them forward, the hands down, the elbows up, and like almost trying to get concave in the front body. Then inhale, open up, elbows back, lifting heart, arched back. Good. One more time, hands forward, round, elbows high. Beach ball type of action here, or hugging. And then inhale, open. And then release your arms down to your sides and shrug those shoulders in circles as much as you can. Good. Now, roll the shoulders in alternate rolls here. Can we lift high with those shoulders? And if your arms help to sort of do a locomotion kind of motion here, give yourself a little locomotion. Good. And backwards in the locomotion now. Right. So there's two ways to go with those shoulders. Try and lift, go slow enough that you can really lift those shoulders up high and swivel your chest. Good. Release your hands down. Now relax your shoulders as best you can. Just tilt your head left and right as best you can. Whatever is available here. Slow. And then drop your chin to your sternum and similarly tilt slightly left and right there with your face down now. So it's a forward bend with a left and right tilt in the neck. Gentle. Take some breaths. So your inhale, sort of activating the body. Exhale, softening the body in very subtle ways. And in yoga, we're always using the breath to try and tune in to our body and to change the subtlest layers of the body with the breath. Lift your eyes, look straight forward, and turn your head gently left and right, upright now, without the shoulders turning anywhere. Just looking over one shoulder and then the other, gentle, gentle, gentle. Good. And looking forward again, tilt left and right, just one ear down and the other ear down, or lifting the other ear. Obviously, one ear is going up as the other is going down as best you can. Nothing vigorous, nothing aggressive here. And then just nod yes. Lifting your chin, dropping your chin. Nod yes. In the big way. Good. And then looking forward, we're just going to lean out with our chest and either lay yourself on your elbows, rest on your elbows, or if a forward bend all the way to your chest and legs, go for that if that's available. So go all the way down to whatever available amount feels safe for you. This is meant to be a resting position. Forward bend, rest. Now my mic gets in my face right here, so I try not to yell into it, but what I do really want to encourage you to do is draw your chin to your sternum for a moment so that you're really expanding the back of the neck and opening up. And from that drawing of your chin to your sternum, then relax the head as much as you can and relax whatever action you did to get that chin to the sternum. So whatever now relaxes your head fully to its fullest capacity off your neck, even if there are tensions you don't have control over. And when you exhale, think of that exhale as being a message of softening into the body. When you inhale, sit back up, lift your head, gently sit up. And we're going to lean all the way against the back of the chair now. So sitting up, leaning back, and scoot your butt forward on the chair. Grab onto your chair and march your knees here. See how high you can get your knees to your chest, and do so as best you can without too much momentum. So we're not just trying to swing our legs to the highest point, but actually lift them to the highest point. So when you get your left knee up next time, just hold it up there. Hold the left knee up and squeeze the knee towards your chest any closer. Circle your left ankle for a moment. Good, drop your left knee, lift your right knee, squeeze and hold there high, circle your ankle. Take a breath. Good, release that, wag your knees in and out with your feet on the floor. And then go out wide with both legs to the sides in a big V, extending the toes, pointing the toes. Stretch your arms back and high as well, open up the chest. Feel free to look back if your head allows, if your neck doesn't feel strained by looking back, look back. If it feels strained, you can hold your head if you like, or drop your chin to your sternum, either way. One more breath, reaching. Can you expand the knees anymore? Straighten the knees anymore? Yes, good, Colleen. Straighten the elbows anymore? Awesome. Release your hands to your belly. Step your feet back onto the floor. Wag your knees one more time, left and right. And then push your way upright to a seat. Take your hands to your knees. Here we're going to circle our torso around over our hips. Try to hold steady as far as pelvis is concerned, but do lean as far as you can, front to back, left to right. All the directions possible with this circling if you're, and then go the other way. Good, good. Try and swing your heart around over your hips in a big circle. Carve out more space with your upper body, left to right especially. Good, and then sit on right up over your hips now. So I'm just gonna demonstrate an upright seat. We're trying to get right angles in our hips, right angles in our knees, right angles in our feet. Shoulders are relaxed away from the ears as best you can. And I'll give one little neck cue, or head placement cue that I'm always giving to everybody all the time, and myself included, because there's just a tendency in life to go this direction. And for the head to crane forward and the back of the neck to get super short. And so in this front to back position, we want to consider doing the exact opposite. Here, think of this as you've got a right angle in your neck going flat forward, and then this right angle is like forward and then up. And we want to fill up that corner. We want to fill it up by drawing our chin in, lift our heart up, and draw the base of the skull back and up. So what we're trying to do is expand the space in the base of the skull, between the base of the skull and the shoulder blades, by drawing your nose back and lifting the base of the skull, but not by looking up, but actually by slightly tilting your nose down. Not super down, this is overdoing it. And you could overdo it just to get the feeling of it. Like you're trying to make a double chin, you're trying to draw your head back and make a double chin here. And then relax that by looking forward gently and just resting your head on your neck spine there. So in this way, we cultivate a little of the opposite of this, which is so common, and all the time people are doing this, whether they're young or old. And as a lanky teenager growing up, I know I learned to do this just because I was I was a little taller and lanky and felt awkward and didn't want to be pointed out or whatever. So, but anyway, cultivating that nice tall spine with the back of the neck long is a way to actually get your balance as well. So it does so many things. It does a lot of things with your breath. It does a lot of things with your circulatory system. It does a lot of things with your with pain in your neck and shoulders. So I always tell the story, I had a shoulder pain for a long time. I couldn't solve it with various physical therapy, other things. I went to a yoga workshop, which was which one of the pieces was this neck thing. And that piece, plus getting a new prescription of my glasses so I wasn't craning like this, solved my shoulder issues. So just so you know, you never know what's going to come together to help solve some of these things. But look for that as best you can. Now, we're going to do a little centering practice. So take your arms wide and inhale overhead, and take your hands down the middle into your heart. That's an exhale. We're going to do 3 of these, circling our arms out. Think of this metaphorically. You're pulling the outside world into your center, into your heart. And in this way, we're sort of connecting our inner world with the outer world. As you inhale, you pull the inner world in, you pull the outer world in, and as you exhale, you put the inner world out. Now, holding your hands here, resting here as best you can. Shoulders relaxed down away from the ears. Elbows resting away from the shoulders. Palms resting as best they can against each other. Close your eyes now for a few moments. All we're going to do is pay attention to our breath. So this is considered the sort of practice of mindfulness, and it might be something you use throughout the rest of your yoga practice. But the first step is to get your attention into the present. And the present is whatever's going on in your body. Like if you're tracking your breath, you're not paying attention to the last breath. You're just paying attention to the breath you're on right now. And as that breath leaves your body on the exhale, you're paying attention to the exhale, and then you're paying attention to the overturn into the inhale, and then you're paying attention to the inhale. All you're doing is tracking, riding the wave of the present as best you can with your attention. In this way, we take our mind out of the tendency to comment on the present, out of the tendency to worry or make constantly anticipate what's coming. So noticing your tendency maybe to look at the clock in the room. Maybe there's a tendency to do so to see where we're at in time for some reason, but the goal is just to be present. So noticing any habits of mind that come up and not shunning them, but just turning back to this breath as it's happening, whatever it's on. Now I just did 3 breaths. I didn't have my mind on all 3 breaths the whole time, just so you know. It's very hard to do. But there is a practice there. And it's considered a practice of liberation from all the stuff, the mind stuff that it gets involved in. So that's my little breath practice for today. Keep your eyes closed. We will chant Om now 3 times. And this is the voice practice. Part of Parkinson's is that the voice starts to get quieter. So I do consider the Oms a really important part of the Parkinson's yoga classes. So I encourage you to Om as strongly and steadily as you can. And I think of Oms as a big inhale and then an exhale with your voice as a steadiness. So as best you can, the word is Om, and it's got 3 sounds, ah, o, And actually today we're going to do the 3 sounds separately. So if you're with me, if you don't feel comfortable singing in your place, whatever, that's fine. But I encourage you to practice getting used to it, or practice anytime you do feel comfortable. We're going to start with ah. So inhale and ah. And then O, the second one is O. Inhale and O. And the third sound is inhale and And then we'll put it all together, Aum, until the end. So 1 full Aum, inhale. And then just 1 deep inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Can you squeeze more air out from the bottom of your lungs, exhaling? And then release your hands down, open your eyes. Couple inhales and exhales there. Big inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. We'll do one more. Inhale through your nose, slow. Exhale through your mouth. Great. Go ahead and open your eyes if they are closed. We're going to step our feet out wide to the sides with the knees wide. I'm going to scoot back so you can see my feet. Good. Now, we're going to start with reaching the left arm up long along the ear and side bending just a little to the right. So when I say left, you know, you may think that I'm reaching my right, and you're correct, but I'm playing the mirror for you. So here's the left arm up, side bend to the right. Good. Yep. And then come back up and drop the left arm and reach your right arm up and side bend to the left. Good. And switch again. Drop your right arm, reach your left arm up, side bend. Good. Drop your left arm, reach your right arm up, side bend. Great. Back up to the center, and then we'll lean forward onto that right elbow. Take your left arm up. So a little bit further forward, lean, a side bend, lean to the right as your left arm goes long. So switch sides there, Colleen. Left arm up, right arm down. Good, good. Now we're going to take this left arm and big circle here. Take this left arm behind you. Maybe follow the hand with your eyes and then circle it down across your left knee and then over your right foot possibly and up high. So it's not really a circle parallel to any particular wall or floor or ceiling. It's more of a like an odd diagonal circle here. But we're rotating our chest with our left arm, guiding us here, turning your chest open to the left and back, and then forward and close to the right and forward, yeah? So we're trying to get rotation in the spine, which is also super key challenge to Parkinson's, rotating spine. So that's why we started with some of those twists as well. Give it one more big circle here, back and down, and then the next time you reach the left arm off over the right side, reach it as far as you can to the right. So this cross-body reach. Very good. Good. Now, like you're grabbing a lawnmower pole right at your right toe, go down to your right toe, grab that lawnmower pole and pull it back high to the left, big and high up to the sky. And then down and low to the right, and then big and high to the sky to the left. Keep your right elbow down as best you can. If your eyes can go to that hand, yeah, that's good, Elizabeth. As long as your neck feels safe here going, turning your eyes. But if your neck feels strained by looking up, don't worry about it too much. Anybody, whatever your neck is here. And then one more time, turn open and squeeze, reach rather. But as you're reaching, why I said squeeze is that there's a little opportunity here to squeeze the back shoulder blades together here. As you're reaching the left arm up high, can you sort of open the chest and try and squeeze the shoulder blades together in the back? And then release your left arm, sit on up, bring your feet back to center. Before we go to the other side, let's roll our shoulders out and release some of the tensions we might have just invited into our body. And then we'll also do a little cat-cow pose. So put your hands on your knees and lift your heart arching. Inhale, then exhale and round out your back, pull your belly back and even go to the back edges of your sitting bones. So we're leaning back a little bit with the pelvis. And then inhale, arch, lift your heart, shoulders back. Exhale, round, shoulders go forward, heart goes back, belly goes back, pelvis tilts back. Inhale, one more time, arch, lift your heart, open chest, exhale and round. And then sitting up. And so that's called cat-cow. It's one of the classic yoga practices when we start to warm up our spine. So just so you know, if you looked up cat-cow, it would either be seated. This is seated cat-cow. Anyway, step your feet out wide to the sides again and sit up tall. Good. And then we're going to lean down under a left elbow now. So going to the other side, take your right arm up to the sky on an inhale and reach it across your right ear there. Reach your right arm overhead to the left. And then turn and reach your right arm over the left toes. I think we're going the opposite direction of the circle than we did the other side. That's okay. Go in back and in front of your right knee and then reach way back to the wall behind you with your right hand and then up to the ceiling and then turning your chest towards your left knee as you reach to the left with your right hand and down. So we're doing big circles here, rotating spine, eyes following the hand, which again is part of the practice here with Parkinson's is also where your eyes go. How can you get it's eye yoga and eye practice of control of where the eyes go. So Eyes are muscles too, and they get affected by Parkinson's as well. So we're practicing here, going back in one more circle here, big circle back, and then up along the ear, and then way out over the left toes. Now, keeping this diagonal reach across the body to the left with the right hand. Good. Very good, good, good. And then reach down towards your left toes. Maybe you get pretty close to your left toes with your right hand. And then like there's the lawnmower pull there, we're just gonna pull straight back and high up to the sky, turn open, reach up, or maybe it's a bow that we're drawing back. And then we'll go back down and reach for that bow again, or reach for the bowstring, and then pull the bowstring away from the left foot, up high to the right. Inhale. Good, one more time, reaching down towards the left toes with the right hand. Exhale, inhale, open and stay open, reaching back and high. Look at that hand if it's available. Big breath there, reaching. Good, gently release the right hand, sitting up here. Shrug your shoulders in circles. Roll it out. Step your feet back into the center. Again, we'll do cat-cow, so your hands on your knees. Round out your back, pull your belly in, dive your head to your sternum, chin to your sternum rather, and lift your heart. Arch your back, tilt your pelvis to the front edges of your sitting bones. Exhale, roll to the back edges of your sitting bones as you lean back now. This is a lean back rather than a forward bend. Inhale, lift your heart and arch. Give it one more of those. Round out, exhale. And arch, inhale. And then from this arch, can we lean our heart forward, lay ourselves again down on our legs in a forward bend and rest again. Shoulders to knees if that's available, head totally collapsing towards the ground. Now, if you're looking at the ground, that means your neck is doing some work to keep your head up. See if you can look between your legs to the wall under your chair. And if that's effort, then relax from that effort rather than from the effort of looking at the floor. So start with the chin ducked to your sternum, and then try and relax from that and see if the neck relaxes in a different way than it would if you started with your eyes on the floor and trying to relax your neck. Take a big inhale and exhale. When you're ready, on your inhale, sit up gently. You can always use your hands to walk, push yourself up, use your hands if you like. And then lean against the back of your chair now. We'll go all the way back, leaning against the chair. And scoot your butt forward against again to the front edge of the chair. Take your hands to your chair and march your knees again. Now, I'm going to encourage your chin to your sternum, so when you march your knees, your low ribs don't pop up. So with the chin down, it helps keep the low ribs down. But for obvious reasons, you might want to watch me as well, just to make sure you have a visual. Now, it's possible that some of you are up for floating your feet here, and I do want those low ribs to stay down, so that's why chin down, low ribs down as you float legs helps keep the low back from getting any strain. Now, if the low back feels strained here, that's not the goal. The goal is the work in the front belly here. So if you're floating legs and that feels okay, and you're just building up a heat and a fire in your legs, or rather in your belly, among maybe your legs too, then that's the goal. Now, there's many reasons that this can be not quite good for low backs and things, so I want you to be careful here. And since I can't see everything on the video, I'm not necessarily able to adjust everybody. Go ahead and release all that. Extend your legs wide again now. Oftentimes we go between big movements, big challenges, and then big openings. So go big wide here with the legs and arms, and breathe and take in everything here that you just activated. Consider that you're kind of absorbing or receiving the work that you just put into your body. Inhales and exhales. One more big inhale. Good. Can you zip your legs together and reach your arms straight behind you now? So it's one big line reaching back, looking again, possibly back if that's okay. If your neck doesn't like that, don't worry about it. Drop your chin to your sternum or what saves you. If your neck needs more support, your hands can be behind your head. And then let's everybody, if you can, put your hands actually behind your head, clasped, elbows going wide. And then side bend to your right, lifting your left ribs. So side bend to your right, lifting, opening up those left ribs. Maybe you turn your eyes to the left. Careful with your neck again, but just see if you can turn your head left as you're side bending right. So you're looking up. And then side bend to your left and lift your right ribs. And maybe look to the right if that's available for your neck again and your eyes. Keep your elbows open. Think of sort of opening the side of a spring here. The right ribs getting open like a spring on one side. You're bending the spring. Good. Come on back to center. Release your hands back to your belly. Step your feet onto the floor. Wag your knees in and out again. Good. Now, if this recline always needs support for the head, that's okay. You can have your hands behind your head. But if it's okay to just stay reclined now as best we can, we're going to keep our hips forward and we're going to bicycle just the left leg. Just the left leg doing bicycles here. Warming up that thigh and hip and all the other things. And the next time the knee gets up close to your chest, keep it up. Keep the knee close if best you can. Good. Now see if you can keep that knee close and just extend at the knee only, kicking high. I know this is working the thigh, that's the whole point. So it's got to be a little uncomfortable. Keep the knee high and just kick and bend. Yes, good. Extend now one last moment here. Point and flex the foot if you're available to it. I know it's a lot of work. For me, it's a lot of work. Drop the left leg down and sweep the left leg left and right now. Breathe, good. Now, so I go back and forth between mirroring for you. Right now I'm not mirroring. This is obviously my left leg too. But now I'm going to switch to mirroring because it's easier for you to see what we're going to do next, front to back. So in the front. So this is the left leg still. We're still going left leg, left and right. And then circle the left toes around. And then extend the left leg right in front of you and sweep it across the right foot. Take the left arm up and side bend to the right. Reach the left arm straight as you can. Lean back, get a side bend a little more here. Good. And then draw your left knee up and grab onto it with your left hand. And then pull your left knee wide and lift your heart up. There, good. Circle your left ankle, holding the knee wide to the side now. Good. Circle that left ankle. And then pull the knee across. Take your right hand to the left knee. Pull it across. Up to your right shoulder as best you can. You might take your left arm out to just encourage openness to the shoulder to the left. Good. Now, if this knee is hard to grab with your right hand, I understand. It can be very challenging. You might hold under the thigh instead, or you might have a strap on it. We're going to do one more breath here. And then grab the knee, turn the knee wide a little bit. Maybe you put both hands on your left shin and rock the knee left and right. Now this, again, may be challenging. You might be holding under the thigh instead. I know it's not the easiest thing necessarily, and especially if you're just starting out, no worries, please. This is like, there's many modifications that we might have done face-to-face. But in any case, if it's possible to put now your left ankle on your right knee, we're going to let the left knee fall open here. Stay reclined. So as you notice, I'm still quite reclined to start. And then I might put my hands on the chair and lift the chest up. And if that's not messing with my left knee here, then I might stay upright. If that's tough on your low back or your left hip or whatever, you can stay reclined and just try and relax that left knee open. The goal here is a stretch of the outer left hip. My chair, I've got to fix this chair. So I'm a little worried about the chair right now. I've been doing too many yoga classes in this chair now. I'm going to get a different one. I'm pushing these chairs to their limit. So we are this is a static pose to open up the left hip. And it can be done sitting up. If your left knee is open enough, you'll feel the stretch on the outer left hip. If this is already awkward enough, just stay here and practice a little breath mindfulness again. So a lot of times when we go into poses that feel awkward or challenging or uncomfortable, or maybe there's even a little degree of sense of like, is this safe or not? I'm not sure. I want you to feel safe, first of all. So if it feels totally unsafe, come out of it. If it feels just a little awkward and you're not sure, take breaths and see if you can calm down the emotional reaction to it, which is absolutely necessary and normal and you know, useful in places where we need it. But in yoga, we're also practicing kind of working with the boundaries between the sort of fear of discomfort, which is where both growth happens and where injury can happen, right? So we want to make sure that it's the growth side of discomfort and not the injury side of discomfort. And that's totally a practice. It's not something you learn the very moment you do it. So I just want you to play with this idea that your breath can bring a sense of steadiness into your nervous system, and that steadiness can allow you to discern better between the growth side and the injury side of discomfort. And discomfort's going to be there when we do exercise. It's just part of the work. And it's part of life anyway. So again, this is how yoga kind of applies in a bigger philosophical way to all of life, where we don't get to choose when we're uncomfortable a lot of the time. We're stuck in discomfort. How can we choose to respond to it? That's the practice, is figuring out how to respond to discomfort rather than just going with the biggest fear of like, this discomfort equals X, Y, or Z. It's not always true. In any case, one more breath here. And then uncross that left knee down, left foot down, and swag the left knee in and out. Sitting up if you can now. So just feet solid on the floor. And we'll do a little rotating left and right just to reset the spine again, to reconnect to that upright linearity. Yeah. And then we're going to do one more hip opener on the left leg before we go to the right side. So here, I'm going to ask you to step your right foot out to the side. Again, now I'm mirroring. So right foot out to the side, left knee towards the ground. And many of you who've done this class know this direction. We're headed towards what is a practice lunge, or an assisted lunge with the chair on our side here. Now the right hand goes to the chair. Your left hand goes up. Your left knee tries to scoot behind the left hip as much as possible, and take your left arm up here. So the left arm up, the left leg back, and you can start to look over the direction your right knee is pointing. Just look at whatever your right knee is pointing at, or up the wall to the ceiling in the direction where your right knee is pointing. So we're looking for what's called crescent lunge, lifting the left arm, reaching the left leg back, stretching the front left thigh and left hip flexor, reaching the left knee as far behind the hip as possible, and not too much collapse in the low back. So not a big compression in the low back, if you can muster that, and strong right leg, which helps steady our lunge here. Now, some of you may come out of the chair and find the full lunge with your butt off the chair and your right hand on the chair. That's fine. You want to play with a lunge without the chair, or with the chair assisting under your hand rather than under your right glute, but don't push it necessarily. If you came out of the chair, sit back down in it, release your hand. Everybody go ahead and release your left hand. Find a safe way to come back to face forward. Take a breath. Breathe, good. And lengthen your spine, forward bend. Now elbows on knees or all the way down again. Find your forward bend and rest. Now, again, this is meant to be a resting pose. So if it's not resting for you, if you're, efforting to make sure you don't fall out of the chair, maybe you've gone too far in your forward bend, you come back up a little bit, or support yourself with your arms. But see if you can take a calm breath or two into your system and settle your nervous system, and practice letting go of all those poses we did. Practice letting go if there are tensions left, even mental or emotional tensions from the work we've already done. Lifting your eyes, sitting back up. Good. Take your time. Good. And then we'll lean against the back of the chair again. And we'll go with the right leg now, bicycling on its own. So set your hands on the chair and take your right leg up and bicycle. Again, I'm doing the mirror, which hopefully you understand by now. We'll take the right leg into its bicycling. And if you like, try and extend through the toes as much as you extend anywhere else. So this toe pointing, knee to chest as high as it can. Give it one more bicycle, and then draw your knee up as close as you can to your chest. Keep it there and try and extend and bend at the knee. Still working that thigh, your hand's still on the chair. Good work, Colleen. Just extending as much as you can. Now we want to build heat here in that right thigh. If your right thigh is burning, that's exactly what I'm looking for. That's what growth feels like. It's uncomfortable, and you breathe and just play with how much growth you want to ask yourself to go for here. Now extend the next time. Hold it out there as best you can. Point and flex the foot. Squeeze your belly into your low back, stabilizing the leg. Float that right leg down to the floor and then sweep it left and right. Take a heavy sigh. And keep going with the right foot out, but now make it circles, circling the right foot as big as you can. Knee going with the foot now. So sometimes it's just the foot that people go with. Try and get the knee going in big circles as well. Or the knee sweeping, I should say, because the knee doesn't do a lot of circling. It just does sweeping and the foot does the circling. Very good. Now extend your right leg right in front of you. Leaning back against the chair, sweep your right foot in front of your left. You're leaning back, the left hand's holding the chair. Take your right arm up and side bend to the left. Take some deep breaths. Recenter your attention right here and what's happening in your body, what muscles, what energy we're shifting. We are transforming energy constantly, and we're asking certain kind of transformation here, and let the pose tell you. Let the pose sort of reveal itself as we hold another breath. Good. Release that right arm down and grab the knee with the right hand. Actually, I'm sorry, you don't release the right arm down. You just grab the right knee with your right hand, stay leaning back and pull the right knee out wide to the right. As best you can, or underneath the thigh is totally fine, yeah? So under the thigh or on the top of the shin, pull it up high to your right shoulder as best you can. I'm gonna get a little closer to try and show. Circle that right ankle. Yeah, so it could be down here, it's fine. Just trying to get it as high as possible though. Good. Switch and grab it with your left hand now, pulling the knee across your chest as best you can. Again, it could be underneath if the top of the shin is not available. But if the top of the shin is available, pull it towards your left shoulder trying to get close to the right knee, turn your chest right arm out. Again, we're leaning back still, so it's a rotation and leaning back against the chair, but you are trying to lift your left shoulder off the chair, so you roll your ribs to the right. Wonderful. Grab that right knee, or rather take the right shin if you can with both hands, rock it a few times left to right. Again, you could hold the leg anywhere that's available. There's lots of possible options here, and then place your right ankle on your left knee. And I'll just say the possible options could be that there's a strap available that you hold your leg with somewhere in here. Now, if that right ankle can rest on the knee, we'll stay there for a few breaths now, just reclining, or some of you sit up right away because that hip is open enough to sit up, and that's fine. If you're reclined, that's also totally fine. Breathe, hold this right ankle on the left knee somehow, and try and relax the hip. Now, you don't have to use the hands to hold it. If it just rests there, fine. That's okay. You can just rest it there. I will encourage flexing your right ankle. So your toes pull back, your heel reaches long. So we want that right ankle to have a flat foot to the side here as best we can. So we have a nice flexed ankle. And in that way, we stabilize the muscles up the shin, stabilize the right knee better. And that keeps it safer as we're trying to stretch this right hip if you feel the hip opening. We'll stay another couple breaths. If you need to go a little further or want to ask a little more challenge to your hip, feel free. But we are trying to breathe and let this pose sort of unfold for us or reveal itself. I've been using that term lately. Just, you don't know what's going to happen. You just get the pose and breathe and find out. And if it's discomfort, that's absolutely understandable. Good. Let's uncross the right leg, step the foot to the floor, wag your knees in and out. And then we're going to go again, to the lunge thing on the other side. Did I miss? I feel like I missed some interesting thing, but I can't remember what it was. In any case, step your left foot out to the side, swivel your right knee down towards the ground. You were turning left. Yes, that's right. Good, Chuck. Take your right arm's going to go up as your left hand supports you on the chair. Left hand on the chair. Slide your right knee any further back behind your hip. Assisted lunge facing left. Your left foot is solid under its knee now too. So a lot of times we get that foot tucked underneath somewhere that it's not helpful. We want to get that left foot right under its knee so that if you feel inclined at some point to push off and find your full lunge with your left hand on the chair and your butt off the chair, then you may explore doing so. If you're interested in that right now, go for it and take a couple breaths looking up at your right hand, reaching your right knee behind your hip, and long breaths. I'm going to ask for one more breath if you're still here. And sit back down if you've come out of the chair. Turn around to face forward safely, please. If you're available to it, take your knees wide and narrow. Great. Very good. One more thing now. Let's go for a wide-legged forward bend. Then we'll do a couple hamstring stretches before we stand up. So hands on your inner knees, lengthen your spine. Forward fold, put your elbows on your inner knees and push them apart now. Use those arms to widen the knees as best you can to the sides. Shoulders working, muscles along the back working to push those elbows into the knees. Actively stretching the inner groins here. Again, without danger. So you might even, in fact, I'm going to invite everyone to squeeze your knees into your elbows, even as you push the knees apart with your arms. So you activate those inner thighs and feel some tension there and some resistance and some energy. Can you both push your knees into your elbows and push down through your heels? So you have both the closing knee action and the pressing down action. Keep that a few more breaths. So active, lots of active energy here without moving. Then relax all the work in the legs and let your arms win a little more. Let your knees go any wider if they do, with your arms winning a little more. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Winning, beating, meaning they override whatever tension in the legs there is. Go ahead and gently sit up. Step your feet back into center, wag your knees in and out. Extend now your left leg in front of you. So I'm just going to turn a little to the side to show left leg straight in front of you, right foot solid on the floor. Sit on the front edge of your chair. That's a super key piece here so that we can get the left leg straight off the hip. Get tall in your spine and fold towards your left leg. Now, folding is at the pelvis here, so not just reaching your chin down. In fact, check in with that neck thing we did in the earlier part of class. See if you can keep your head floating back even as your heart reaches forward and down. And you're not, again, not lifting the chin a bunch to crane the chin, but actually filling out that space between the base of your skull and your shoulder blades by drawing your head back. We'll stay here 2 more breaths, not to focus on the neck too much because it's all about the hamstring right now. Take one more full breath. You want to sit up and step that left foot back onto the floor, wag your knees in and out. And right away to the other side, extend your right leg in front of you a little bit, or straight out rather, pull the toes back, lengthen up the spine, gently fold towards your right leg, chest there. Again, The pelvic tilt is where the action is as far as the fold. The chin and neck do not have to try and help here. So maybe practice that length in the back of the neck as you're folding and breathing. Now I have this sort of oceanic attempt in my breath, and I encourage you to practice that if you like. It's called Ujjayi breath. It's like a slight closing of the throat as you inhale and exhale through your nose. We're going to take one more exhale here, wherever you're at. Finish with an exhale. And on your inhale, you're going to sit up. Step that right foot back onto the floor, wag your knees in and out. Now, I am going to play with the neck one more thing, just because it's might as well do a little neck workshop here. Stretch. So a gentle neck stretch. And I can't say anything, Elizabeth, guaranteeing anything about the neck, but this is one of the ones that I often enjoy. And it may be that you play with just activating parts of the neck that help then relax it. I'm not sure. We'll find out. Yeah. So just sitting upright, and I would encourage you to sit so that you have a part of the chair available to your arm here. So you're going to grab with your right hand now. So this is the right hand. Grab the side of the chair. Yeah. Holding that side of the chair strong with your right arm down and just tall in the spine. Also sitting up tall as you're holding the hand strong on the side of the chair. Now, we're going to lean a little to the left with our head, falling left gently now. So what this does is obviously hold the right shoulder in place as we lean our head to the left and explore, allowing space in the right neck. Now you can keep your eyes forward instead of down, and that will stretch the right neck a little bit more than the back of the neck. Holding the chair, sitting upright with the rest of the spine except for the neck, let your head, your left ear fall towards your left shoulder. Now, eyes can be closed to really bring in attention on that right neck. And as you breathe, can your exhale soften, explore softening, explore allowing more space in that right neck. As your right hand holds tight, there's softness starting from the right shoulder up to the right earlobe. Gentle attention, like it's melting ever so subtly over millennia here. Keeping this for a moment though, now we're going to just turn our nose towards the floor. So looking over the left shoulder, for example, here. Now part of the back of the neck, the right back of the neck is getting a little more stretch. Hold that for a couple breaths. So it's just like you're peeking out over your left hip, for example. The right hand still strong on that chair. Gently lift your head back up. If anything ever tweaks in the neck or feels like it's going towards a tweak, come out of it before it gets there. Go ahead and sit up, look forward, turn your head left and right gently, please. Now, it may be that there's more sensation than less in your neck, or there's different tension, different than what was before, and that's okay. Roll your shoulders out, see if there's anything else that might release that. We'll go to the other side. Again, just being as gentle as we can. Take your left hand, though. The left hand's holding firmly on the left side of the chair. Somewhere I've got a leg that's available to me. Maybe it's just the hand on the seat of the chair. Everyone's going to have a different chair, obviously, so it all depends on that. But we're trying to stay upright in the rest of the spine except for the neck. Now drop your right ear towards your right shoulder, whatever's available there. So whatever that means, everyone's going to have a different neck, yeah? Keep your head, your eyes facing forward so it's a true side bend in the right neck rather. I mean, it's both. It's a side bend to the right, opening the left neck and shortening the right. Now, slow. You're holding this chair. You're trying to explore expansion in the left neck, whatever's available, your left shoulder melting away from your left earlobe. The weight of your head may be enough to stretch the left neck. So the more you relax, letting the weight of your head, which weighs 12 to 14 pounds on average, can be plenty to stretch the left neck muscles here. So just the practice is to learn how to soften and relax the muscles that may be tense under the surface for all sorts of reasons. Of course, when there's dystonia and Parkinsonism and all the things those are things that are much more much more challenging to try and take agency over. But there may be opportunities in your nervous system to soften and see what parts of these muscle fibers we can take agency over. So another couple breaths here and just relaxing your head, falling right, letting your left shoulder rest away from your left earlobe, opening space in the left neck. Before we come up, turn your eyes to look at the ground over your right hip a little bit there. So your head now turns down. You stretch a little more of the back left neck. Couple more breaths there. Take your time to lift your head back up slow. Let go of the chair with your left hand. Sit upright. Best you can now. Shrug your shoulders in little circles, looking forward. You might shrug your shoulders right up into your ears and activate all the muscles and then between the earlobes and the neck there and the shoulders. So activate those muscles and then relax them as best you can and sway your head. And we'll do that one more time. Shrug your shoulders to your ears, activating those muscles in the neck. And then relax them completely and sway your head. Maybe you look down, maybe you draw infinity signs in front of your face with your nose. So this will do multiple directions of the neck all at once. We're both rotating the head, side bending the head, forward bending, and back bending, all with this infinity sign or figure eight to the left and right with our nose. Draw that figure eight with your nose as best you can. And then looking forward, good. All right, we're gonna do some standing practice now. So go ahead if you can, if it's available to you to stand relatively easy, just stand up, whatever suitable technique works for you. If you wanna practice a squat to stand, feel free to do so without your hands. If you don't wanna practice that today, that's totally fine. Push out of your chair. The squat to stand can be a reach of the arms. Wonderful, wonderful. And then stand up and grab that chair in front of you if you are ready to do some standing. And then I'm gonna shift the camera just a hair. Let's see, yeah, that's good. So go ahead and again, we'll go back to tiptoes and heels. I'll turn around and see if that's not much better. Rock up to tiptoes, back down onto your heels, back and forth here. Good. And I will mention that I know some folks, there are some folks in my classes who do not need the chair, and that's fine. You can go chairless and just rock tiptoes to heels. If you want the chair, just a handy support, but practice without holding the chair a lot, that's fine. Good. And then from here, going up to your tiptoes the next time, can you stay on your tiptoes and shift your weight left to right on your tiptoes now? We're trying to stay tiptoes and shifting left to right. Maybe even tiptoeing fully, one foot off and then the other. Staying on tiptoes. Good. And then drop your heels fully down, soften your knees and squat your hips down. Now this is called chair pose. We don't want to forward bend too much of the chest. We just want to sit our hips down like we're gonna sit in a low chair behind us. Good, and then straighten up, inhale, exhale, squat back down. Now notice my knees are not fully apart or together. They're right over the heels the whole time. So squatting, standing up, inhale. One more time. Bend your knees, squat your hips down. Now, this pose oftentimes is a perfect opportunity for people to crane their chins forward. So try and draw your chin in and get the back of the neck nice and long. You're not looking down, but you're just trying to have a nice long back of the neck even as you're squatting. Very good. Now, can we stay in this squat and shift our weight and tuck our heels up underneath us here? Stay in the squat and practice squeezing your heels towards your buttocks. Now stay in the squat, low. Now again, I'm often trying to work those legs as much as possible because those are our foundation, and if we can get strong and flexible legs, they're more likely to help our balance here quite a bit. Yeah, good. Standing up now. Now squeeze your heels towards your buttocks standing just to get a difference. And then step your feet out wide to the sides with your knees pointing out and your toes pointing out, and squat this way. So we're sitting our hips down, hands on that chair. Now you might reach your arms forward. If you're available to no hands on the chair, sit your hips down and reach your arms forward. Big squat, send your knees as wide as possible. Pull those knees apart. The ideal is that your feet are under your knees, not too close to each other here. Yeah? Very good. One more breath. Working those thighs, holding the chair or not, that's fine. Good, standing up, inhale. Now we're gonna exhale right back down. Inhale, stand. Lift the heart even, exhale, squat. Hips back, arms forward possibly. Inhale, stand. One more time, squat, hips go back, arms forward, or hands on chair, either way. Hold this squat now. Great. Stand up, hands to the chair, heel toe your feet in. Shake off whatever tensions you just built, the heat in the legs. Very good. And then we're going to do a little squat to launch. And this is coming from the Power Moves, which some of you may already know. It's LSVT Big and Loud is what it's called otherwise, but Power is a sort of newer generation of that. We're practicing catching our balance like we're going up into a layup to left and right. We're practicing weight shift, which is super important. We're practicing big extension. And so it's a balance, extension, and weight shift all in one big movement, okay? And what it looks like is the squat is where we start, or the ready position is a little squat with the feet of, say, a little wider than hip width. And then the launch is a couple options, and I'm just gonna take the chair out of the way to show you. You could have your hands on the chair the whole time, and your right hand would be on the chair as you reach up left. We're gonna be launching up. You're gonna go to the right tiptoes. All the weight's gonna be on the left leg. So it's a launch to the left, like this. If your right hand can be free, it reaches the exact opposite of the left. Yeah, and then you're going back to the chair or squat pose. And then launch right, left arm down, and your weight is over your right leg. Your left toes might even be unweighted completely. Very good. And then back to the squat. Good. Now, if your eyes can do so, follow the hand that shoots up. So launch left, eyes go to the left hand, right hand pushes down towards the right heel. You're standing tall on the left leg. Tall on the left leg there. Good, back to the squat. And again, I'll do the chair in front of me just to be clear how the chair works. Launch to the right. Very nice. Eyes can go to the fingertips. That's great, Elizabeth. Good. Back to center or squat. Wonderful. Launch left. Right hand may stay on the chair or even reach back to the right heel. You may be balanced on the left leg. Good. Squat. Launch right. See if you can balance on the right leg. Left leg may even float. Left hand reaches to the left heel. Right arm up. Eyes to right fingers. Wonderful. Squat. Good. I'm going to call it at random. Launch right. Good. Back to center. Launch left. Back to center. Launch left. Nice. Back to center. Launch right. Back to squat. Yeah, squat there, Chuck. Yes, good. Good. Launch left. Nice. Back to center in a squat. Launch left. Back to center. and stand up, release all that. Very good work. On some other days, I might go for calling it out opposites. So I'll say launch left and I'm asking you to launch right. So we might change it up and make a little cognitive game out of that, which is also a part of the work, right? So getting the mind to think different things as you're moving your body. So the science shows if we can get that synaptic firing going in a different way, your motor neurons doing one thing with your body as you're thinking about something, you're thinking about a left, even as you're going right, whatever, that's going to build some neuroplasticity. That's also going to build up the capacity. What that ultimately does is give you the capacity to walk down the street and talk at the same time, which sometimes starts to get more and more challenging as folks have Parkinson's. It's like the concentration it takes to walk safely might be filling up all the work that you can do in your mind, and hopefully, you know, we stave that off as quickly as much as we can, as long as we can. So, anyways, we're going to go out wide with the legs one more time, and swivel our toes to the left. So we'll do a little more classic yoga poses here. So get nice and tall, and your left leg is out to the left, toes are turned out left. Then lunge your left knee here. Very good. Yes, and notice chest staying upright. Good. I noticed nobody leaned forward. That's great. So upright spine. Take your left arm up along your ear now and turn to face where the left knee is pointing. This is called Warrior One pose. Your right hand can be on the chair, or if you feel stable enough by pushing into your right foot, so you're strong in the right leg, strong in the left leg, you might take your right arm up along your ear here as well. So you're forward facing to the left. Does that make sense? Forward facing the left is, anyway, you're facing left, and that's your forward direction. Another breath there. This is Warrior One. Good, release your hands down. Now, stay facing left, straighten out your left leg. You're facing left with your pelvis and your chest. Take your left hand to your hip, lengthen your spine, keep the left leg straight, forward fold over the straight left leg for another hamstring stretch today. Here, so a second hamstring stretch. If you're seated, you can do another hamstring stretch, extending your left leg in front of you there, Colleen, if you like. Good, good. Give it a couple more breaths. We want to activate, warm up, and work space into that left hamstring. Good. Soften the left knee. Lift your chest up. From that Warrior One, we'll straighten out the left leg. Turn back all the way around to the right now. Swivel your toes so your right toes point fully right. Your left heel may slide a little behind its toes. So your left toes may point just slightly towards, say, the chair. Your right toes point straight off to the right. Lunge your right knee. Turn your chest to face the right knee. Turn your eyes to face the direction your right knee is pointing. Bring your right arm up along your ear. Warrior One pose on this side. Good. Lift your eyes at least to the wall in front of you, if not up to the ceiling, if not up to the right hand. Again, the back of the neck, we're trying not to collapse back there. Now, strong left leg pushes into the floor, spine stays upright, strong right heel pushes into the ground. You may be able to lift your left arm also for Warrior One pose. This can be a good balanced challenge here. If your left hand is remaining on the chair, and that's absolutely fine. We want to stay safe. But you may play again with just taking one finger off the chair or playing with your balance wherever it feels safe. But I do want you to stay safe. So another breath or two here in Warrior One pose. Then straighten your right leg out. Take your right hand to your hip. Your left hand goes to the chair. Lengthen your spine out and fold towards your right leg, the straight right leg here. So another hamstring stretch on this side now. A couple more breaths here. Nice long breaths. Maybe, again, that oceanic possibility there. On your inhale, soften your right knee, lift your chest up, turn back to face forward, bring your both toes to face forward. Now, feet are parallel, wide legs still. We're gonna do a forward bend here with wide legs. I'll turn to the side just to show I want those knees soft, not a big squat. Just soft knees. Send your hips way back. Get a big hip flexion here with soft knees. Forward fold. Maybe your hands stay on the chair here. You fold behind the chair, or even rest your elbows on the chair is fine. Whatever. If you want to move the chair forward, that's great. Walk your hands down the chair, forward, down. Some of you may reach the floor with your hands. That's fine. Don't feel like that's a goal. The goal is to have steady, strong legs, weight even in both feet, front to back also, and the heels as much as the toes. And a deep flexion in the hips so that your spine can rest in a forward bend. Your spine now is in the opposite direction from gravity than it usually is. And this gives us an opportunity to allow space between the vertebrae. Allow gravity to pull your head towards the ground, even with those strong legs, into the pelvis. Hug your thigh bones up into your, or hug your thigh muscles up into your hip sockets here. Take another breath if you're still here. Now, when we come up, I want you to be really careful. Keep your breath going, inhaling and exhaling. Walk your hands up the chair. We're going to start coming up now. Keep your breath going so you don't get dizzy, right? So we want to keep adding oxygen to the system. Don't want any head rushes or dizziness or passing out, please. Once you're standing and you feel stable, we'll get the chairs either out of the way if you're available to coming down onto the mat or the floor, whatever you have there. If you want to lie on your back, that's where we're headed. If you don't want to lie down on the floor today, you can just sit back down in your chair. If you happen to have a second chair available to you, that's very helpful if you're going to do the chair version. Yeah. So we can do seated versions through the whole class if you wanted to. If you're going to do a seated version of the final poses here, you might have a chair in front of you like this. Yeah. If you're going to do getting on the floor, then just find your way to a seat. Now, of course, coming down takes sometimes a little practice of getting there, right? So anyone with Parkinson's knows that they're going to have to practice getting up and off the floor and down. Even if you don't have Parkinson's, I know many people who have to practice getting up and down off the floor. So go ahead and do so if you're available to it. And if you're not today, that's totally fine. If you're going to lie down on your back, that's where we're headed. So if you're ready and you're on the floor, go ahead and find your way to your back. If you're in a chair and you have another chair in front of you, great. Put your feet up on the front edge of the chair in front of you so that your knees are bent and you can hug your knees towards your chest. If you're on your back, you're going to hug your knees right into your chest with your hands. Hold them tight into your chest and rock left and right. Now here's where I don't have to see what you're doing. Hopefully you can follow my direction and my visuals enough, right? So holding the knees into the chest, rocking left and right, allowing the weight of your legs and your pelvis to massage your low back or any muscles on your back. Now, drop your feet onto the floor so the knees are bent. Bring your arms right alongside your hips, alongside your ribs, so your palms are essentially heading towards your heels. Your feet are tucked in under your knees as best they can be, so they're close to your hips. Here we're going to go to bridge pose. So roll your shoulders open, push your shoulders into the ground. Lift your pelvis and reach your tailbone between your legs. See if you can go to bridge, lifting pelvis, stretching those thighs. Shoulders open, maybe try and lift your heart. Pushing into your feet evenly. Notice inner and outer edges of the feet, front and backs of the feet. Several breaths here in bridge pose. Now, if you need to come out of it and come back into it, back and forth, that's totally fine as well. If you're up for holding, that's fine. When you're in bridge though, do squeeze your glutes, your muscles in your buttocks there, and your hamstrings, the muscles behind your knees. Your muscles the opposite of your thighs. Of course, you know, we just stretch them. So you know where those are. Give it another breath or two. If you can activate those muscles on the underside of the bridge, that's a big part of helping the bridge support itself. When you're ready, roll it back down, drop your pelvis to the floor, draw your knees one more time into your chest. Here, we're going to take our hands to our kneecaps and take circles with our knees. So knees going wide and then back together. Circle the knees away from each other and back together. And then switch the track of those circles so they go the same circles, but they're in the opposite direction of those circles, or opposite direction along the track is what I should say. And then here's one final puzzle just for fun. Not just for fun, it kind of feels good too. Can you keep one of those knees going the same way around the track it was going, but send the other one in its opposite direction? So the knees pass each other in the middle, like two race cars on two tracks that are meeting at a waist there or something. And the two knees pass each other quickly, one going away from you, the other coming towards your heart. And then switch the direction of both of those. So you can make a sort of odd circling motion here, if that feels okay. And it's not too confusing. Finally, just extend your legs, holding behind your thighs if you can. Extend your legs towards the ceiling and circle your ankles up there. Now your knees don't have to go straight at all. Just extend towards the ceiling, circle the ankles, whatever you can do. I just said finally, but I think that's not finally. We're going to do one more set of things here. Step your feet to the floor and swivel your knees to the left for a supine twist. Now the knees just falling, whatever they can do, allowing gravity to take over the knees falling left, so your pelvis turns left as well. You might turn your eyes to the right and just take a couple breaths there. And then take your knees the other way. Knees go right, eyes go left. Again, just letting gravity take over the weight of the legs here. A couple more breaths. Bring the legs back to center. One final pose now. This is the final pose. Soles of the feet together, knees falling wide in a diamond shape. So this is supine bound angle pose, trying to allow the inner thighs some space. The soles of your feet are together. Your knees are bent, of course. You're making a diamond with your legs here. See if you can relax into gravity in this position. One of the better ways to practice relaxing a little more is to take belly breaths, or breathe and inflate your belly on the inhale. And as you exhale, deflate your belly. So it falls towards the floor on the exhale, it rises away from the floor on the inhale. This can bring some calm into your full system here. If it does not seem to do so, don't worry about it. That can happen also with folks where breathing into the belly doesn't have that calming effect. That's okay. And then when you're ready, I keep saying final pose. Now it's the real final pose. So if you're brand new to yoga, I have a particular way of teaching sometimes where I say one more breath, and I don't mean just one breath, I just mean take another breath. And when I say final pose, I just mean the final one in that particular series or whatever. Anyway, this pose, Shavasana, is the actual last pose of all yoga practices if you're doing the practice fully. It's called Shavasana, or corpse pose. It is a practice of letting go. And it is the practice that many yogis say is the hardest one to practice, in the sense that we're practicing for the ultimate letting go of our body in the end of life. And that is a really scary and challenging thing to do. But the practice helps you build a relationship to your life, to what's valuable, what's important. Helps build a relationship to what you fear most. Instead of just running away, we practice developing relationship to all things. Here, we practice letting go. Let go of any control, any management over your body. Let go of needing to control even. Let go of commentary about good or bad. Let go of any assessments you're making of the future or the past. Can we let go into the present completely? Have no tensions that resist gravity. Have no need to manage or control our breath. Let go of your jaw tension, let go of your brain tension, let go of your heart tension. Let go of your pelvic floor tension, let go of your thighs, down to your heels and your toes. Can you relax completely? We'll stay here for a few minutes. Just keep resting. It will go over 4 o'clock a little bit today. If you do need to leave at 4, I understand, so feel free to sign out if you need to. Otherwise, we'll stick around for another 3 or 4 minutes resting here. Relaxing and letting go. My favorite word in this practice is allow. Practicing allowing all things to be just as they are. Allow, allow, allow. Deepen your breath. Gently take your time to move. You might just stretch your arms first, roll your wrists and ankles, fingers and toes, stretch your legs. Start with small things and move into bigger things if you like, or do it all at once if you like, but nothing too vigorous, nothing too aggressive here. You might keep your eyes closed. If you want, make your way up to a comfortable seat. If you want, you can stay lying down. Take your time again, not to rush anything or even to completely shift out of that resting demeanor that you may have had in that last pose. Come into a comfortable place. Set your hands together at your heart. Close your eyes. And just bow to or consider your own generous heart. And thank yourself for coming to this practice and exploring where your capacities can grow. And find gratitude for the community we build here and for what you dedicated your practice to in the beginning. I can't remember if I asked if I dedicate your practice to something that matters to you, but in any case, we often do. I may have gotten sidetracked this class, but maybe consider something that you're doing this for and find gratitude for that, right? Those things that matter to us in life. We'll chant a final Om in honor of all that. Inhale. I bow to the light in your heart. It is the same light in my heart. Namaste. All right, thank you so much for joining me today in class. If you have any comments or questions or feedback, I'm happy to hear it. If you're watching the video, you can send it to me on email. Otherwise, I'll see you next class or next time, whenever it's possible.